This morning, all jokes aside, or maybe the opposite, new fallout after ABC pulled Jimmy Kimmel off the air indefinitely under public pressure from the Trump administration. Kimmel's fellow late-night host came out swinging over what they are calling an attack on free speech.
From Comedy Central, it's the all-new government-approved Daily Show. With your patriotically obedient host, Jon Stewart.
After threats from Trump's FCC chair, ABC yanked Kimmel off the air indefinitely. That is blatant censorship. Jimmy, just let me say, I stand with you and your staff 100%.
It is a privilege and an honor to call Jimmy Kimmel my friend, in the same way that it's a privilege and honor to do this show every night. I wake up every day, I count my blessings that I live in a country that at least purports to value freedom of speech, and we're going to keep doing our show the way we've always done it, with enthusiasm and integrity.
I feel bad about this because we all see where this is going, correct? It's managed media, and it's no good. It's silly. It's ridiculous, and you can't go around firing somebody because you're fearful or trying to suck up to an authoritarian criminal administration in the Oval Office. That's just not how this works.
All right, Jimmy Kimmel has not yet publicly responded to the suspension. We are getting some new details about what's happening behind the scenes at ABC over whether to bring him back. One source tells CNN that ABC hopes that Kimmel can return, but he has to, quote, take down the temperature.
All of this came after the new chair of the FCC, Brendan Carr, threatened to revoke broadcast licenses over comments that Kimmel made about the finger pointing that occurred in the wake of Charlie Kirk's murder. And now the president is saying very clearly that he thinks any network that gives him, quote unquote, bad publicity in press should lose their license. Joining us right now is comedian and host Paul Mecurio. Also, we should note he spends some of his time warming up the live audience at the Late Show with Stephen Colbert.
Where's your audience? I can do that.
Exactly.
Everyone will
These
laugh.
guys.
Right.
Exactly.
Come on, guy in the hat.
Now we
Let's
know
go.
what we've been missing. We've been missing Paul.
There you go.
It's great to see you. Thank
Great
you for
to
being
see you.
here.
Absolutely.
One of the, just first and foremost, just your take on what has transpired in the
I want
past week.
people watching, some people on the right especially, my perspective. I'm not a Trump basher. Not my guy, didn't vote for him, wouldn't again, okay? I'm a guy in the middle. I'm a guy who believes a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and what I believe in. I'm here for one reason, First Amendment. I'm an attorney, I'm a citizen. It's bad, and it's getting worse. You can't use easy way, hard way, the government coercing. That's case law on that, First Amendment violation, right? And I'm on pins and needles. Is it silencing comedians? Probably, yeah. Because even when I write a joke, I'm just like, I have a joke about a turtle. Like, see, the problem is Trump is like your hangry dad. You never know when he's going to snap and lose his mind over something, right? So it's like, I have a joke about a turtle. Maybe he had a pet turtle growing up. Speed racer. He loved his little turtle. Now I say something about a turtle. I'm a turtle hater. He gets all the turtle lobbyists out. They move slowly because they're turtle lobbyists, but they are lobbyists. And the next thing I know, thank you, camera guy. And then, right? But eventually, I get canceled. Now, I know this sounds crazy, but we're not too far off. And one of my big points here is everybody watching at home, this is your problem too.
Why?
Because it's not just about comedians. You have a daughter, she's 16. She goes to a public school funded by the federal government. She's on the debate team. She chooses a side that something's wrong with Trump or the Trump administration. A Trumper in the class tells the parent tells the school board tells the Department of Education. They call Trump, their administration says, we'll cut your funding, suspend that girl, make an example of her, and that hurts her chances. Does this sound crazy to you? Not to me right now. That's plausible, and that's where he is, and that's why everybody watching should be invested in this.
And you brought up very early in what you were just saying there, I think the key ingredient that we keep on needing to address and highlight here, which is the government's role in this. What Brendan Carr, the chair of the FCC, did and said. Jimmy Kimmel made the joke.
Right.
You could think it's funny or you could think it's not funny.
Right.
It was what Brendan Carr then threatened. He said to ABC, you can do this the easy way or the hard way. This is not subtle.
I've been hearing for 3 days
There's no
pundits
misinterpretation
on all the networks and everything saying it was a business decision. Hey, listen, it was a business decision the way the band leader in The Godfather made a business decision to let Johnny Fontaine out of his contract. Remember? Yes. Again, thank you, camera guy. Right? Can we stop and just be honest? It's a guy got mad. He called this guy. He said, you know, look, somebody asked me, is late night becoming too political? The entire world is too political. News, sports, now transgender. My wife and I are in Central Park. We don't have time for it. I got a story about a guy accused us of being politically incorrect about pit bulls. About pit bulls. This is where we are, okay? So why don't we let the viewer decide if things are too political? Walk with your feet. If you stop watching the shows because they're too political, they go away. Instead of the government telling the citizens, you don't need to be watching this, we're going to tell you what to think and do.
The thing, also what you said, and Brian Stelter was talking about this earlier, that what this is, no matter if this runs up against the Constitution, and it does, and the law, which it does, the outcome being self-censorship is the scariest thing.
Yeah, and I think that's, listen, I know comics that'll go to, and I'm not going to make this conservative versus liberal. It happens both sides. Yeah. Conservative will go into a liberal area, city, whatever, might walk some people in the room because he's saying something against Trump, and vice versa. Mm-hmm. That's not good. Political commentary comes in different forms, and there's a great history in this country of satire, going back to Mark Twain, okay, Ambrose Bierce, et cetera, et cetera. That needs to stay. And what needs to change is that the people running the country need to treat citizens like adults. Mm-hmm. Let us decide what we like, what we don't like, what goes too far.
What do you think Jimmy Kimmel should do now? I don't know if I have the language exactly right.
One?
What did we say? That Jimmy Kimmel, the ABC, hopes he comes back,
but has to turn the temperature down.
I think he should open a Dunkin' Donuts franchise. They're very lucrative. I think what he should do is, I hope he comes back, and I hope he explains the joke to people but doesn't apologize. Because the joke wasn't about Charlie Kirk. It was about the supporters and about Trump's reaction. Now, you can explain but not apologize. Mm-hmm. And the other thing is, I keep hearing, he misleads people. He's not a journalist.
Wait, that's what I was going to ask you, because this is kind of part of it, but maybe not, because it still gets down to free expression, no matter what.
Right.
And people are saying, when it comes to the difference between a journalist, a comedian, a commentator, the accuracy, truth, not, it kind of matters and doesn't.
I used to write on The Daily Show, we get this all the time, and John's reaction was, we're not journalists. I can make up a premise. I can say I saw flying pigs on Fifth Avenue. You can't lock me up because there aren't flying. Jimmy is not a journalist, okay? It's the viewer's responsibility to be well-educated enough and well-read and informed to know what he's telling them is just a setup for a joke. And that's where, just because he's talking, he's not David Muir on ABC, who has a different responsibility. So what are we doing now? What, Carrot Top has to have Edward R. Murrow standards now when he does his act?
We might be better off if he did. To be honest. Or I don't know. Carrot Top can cancel me for saying that. Exactly. Where does it end?
Right.
Really?
But to that point, Paul, the late night hosts last night were all about this.
Yeah.
How long do you think this sustains? Do you think that they will keep this level of outrage up? Or do you think that a week from now, people will be saying, who's Jimmy Kimmel?
I think as long as Brendan Carr and the president keep extending, and I'll call this a cancer, which is, maybe I should go after some news outlets now. He stands on the lawn of the White House and says to an Australian reporter, I don't like that question. Your president's coming here. As long as he continues that, this will continue, because part of what satire is pushing it back against power in a reasonable way. I think when they say that Jimmy's going to drop the temperature, so does the government.
Counselor Paul Mecurio.
I mean, triple friggin' threat right here.
I'm sending you a bill for this.
That's right, billable hours right here.
I mean, you should see, we don't have the budget. So thank you for your pro bono work today
no problem.
on this show.
I actually had to pay for water here.
Well, we don't have chairs. We don't have a legal budget. So
it's great to be here.
Thank you, Paul.
I'm going down now. Look, I'm doing improv.
I'm going to turn to this now. Other real news.